Hi everyone, it's Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 8, Whisper Attack. We cannot run, we cannot hide from it any longer. They are here, and in just a few hours, we are going to be witnessing firsthand something we've been talking about for a long time. Appreciate all of you guys being here for the second of 5 streams. We did a little bit a few hours ago. Here we are at 3 o'clock. We got an 8 o'clock countdown coming tonight. We got reaction videos and extended reaction videos, a little bit of something for everyone. We're going to get it started out with a super chat. Valar in the house. Hello, 999 Army. Ready for round 2 of the madness. It is Walking Dead Day. And Valar saying, what's up, too? Kills, Steph, Emmy, Kel, Sweet Tommy sponsors Patreons, and of course, a ton of super chatters on this channel. We got people coming in full effect. So thank you so much. Appreciate everybody being here. 999 Army. We're going to talk about the Whispers. We have talked about them early on, but this is one of the we haven't really dug down into. We've kind of tied them in, I guess, to other stories, but they've been out there lurking. And I think it's time we go back. We're going to check out some of the Easter eggs, some of the hidden clues. One of the things that really hit me was the episode last week with Connie, and where, you know, they started slowing down and she could sense that someone was watching her. And she should have went with her instinct because she kind of played it off a little bit like who's out there. But we know that they are out there in the woods. So then the question that I have for all of you is, how many groups are there out there? Because we may or may not see Alpha tonight. We may or may not see Beta, you know, maybe at a distance, kind of like the picture we have up on screen. I mean, Beta is going to stand out a little bit, and I think it's going to be finding bits and pieces. But are there simultaneous attacks going on? So leave your thoughts and comments right now. I want to call on a few people, because what I'm wondering is if this small group is hanging out by the graveyard, maybe that's their camp. Are there others watching Hilltop? Have they made their way over to Alexandria? Who is at risk at this point? And I just don't know how many of them there could be. That's the only lurking question I have right now. But I just feel like this whole that they were watching, you know, Michonne's group, Connie, you know, a few of them as they made their way back and forth. Also, maybe following Rosita. It also makes you wonder if they spared Rosita just to follow her. Drama King says, kills. I think they mill around like this in order to attract walkers and form herds. So they just kind of little by little build up their numbers. And Drama, it's a good point. It just goes back to a little bit of what we talked about in the earlier stream. I wonder, how do they control these herds? I mean, apparently they can't, but, or do they separate themselves from the herd? Maybe they just, you know, let the walkers do whatever they're going to do. And then when they capture somebody, it's just one of their little small recon groups. I guess that's, yeah, we'll get to see that. Reese Darby says, so glad to finally catch a live stream. Live in England is so hard. I love to see that. I love to see when our European viewers are watching and they say, hey, thanks for doing a little bit earlier stream. So this is the third one that we've done this weekend somewhat early. So I appreciate all of you guys being here live. And I know many of you watch the playbacks. So, you know, we try to comment as much as we can on the playback as well, so appreciate that. So let me go back to a theory that I threw out there, I guess, Monday. I would think it was Monday. And many of you agreed with that, so I'm just kind of curious. Did Rosita manage to get to safety and get this flare, or did they spare Rosita? Did they just want to find a little bit more information about this group before? Because, look, what if Rosita's solo? There's really no value in killing one person. So if they do think that, you know, they watched them up on the radio tower, Eugene, they got to think they're a part of something bigger. And the purpose of them taking over. On the TV show, I guess this is a question, and many of the comic fans can chime in as well. What do you think the Whisperer's purpose is? Is it just to kill? Is it because they do want to? Is there some hidden motive down there to take some of their supplies to find an easier channel? Dude, really? Thanks for that super chat, but yeah, I'm not even sure why that message even popped up. Anyway, moving on. Purpose of the Whisper. So Valerie says to recruit people. I mean, hey, if people from other channels just want to come over and donate money to the channel, it's all good. But usually we like our super chats to be either, repping the 999 Army or something specifically to the show. Either or, there are conversation topics. To spread like a virus, Ron Burgundy says. Exactly, Tommy. That's kind of what I'm curious. What's their end game? And how long have they been doing this? That's one question that's just sort of surprised me is, have they been around for 10 years? Well, not 10 years, because I guess the entire zombie apocalypse has probably only been around 8 years or 8.5 years at this point. So what were they before? Were they a group of friends? Were they a cult? Were they just, were they forced into this? Have they picked up some steam? I mean, clearly they've evolved and devolved at the same time. But yeah, I mean, they're not, I think some of what we look at, we see these whispers and we haven't, at least I haven't, grasped that they're human. They still need to eat. They still need to survive. They still do their thing. And I think when you see the two groups merged, look, I'm being somewhat facetious, but they do still need supplies. And they're using the walkers as the ultimate weapon. They're weaponizing the walkers so they can sit back and, have their cornflakes and their bologna sandwiches or whatever, is still food. And they can just kind of, I guess the why is they want to survive. But they're twisted and they're dark. I'm right there with you, Gina. Can't wait for tonight's episode. So, Freddie G, do you think we will see Alpha or Lydia? I do. I think part of it is they are there. But I'm not sure that they're the ones that are going to take down Jesus. I think it's just a random person. Not a random person. I think it's just one of their lower end people. I don't think it's a major player. But hey, at this point, some of the major players are going to they're going to get some notoriety. How do you become a major player in the Whispers? You probably kill one of the best in Alexandria, Jesus. So Jimmy's jamming. Do you know whether or not they're cannibalistic? I don't think so. And I'm going to deflect to my comic fans. Comic fans, they're not cannibals, right? They're just weird, cult, evil, despicable, low moral, no ethics, nothing. Just milling around waiting to score some food. Yeah, okay, good, verified. And once again, I will pick back up the comics in about 2 weeks. So I'll catch up. I'll know a little bit more with the Whisper arc. And we'll see how it ties in. I mean, of course, it can always change. So, you guys ready for a little bit of... I haven't talked about this. It's out there. But a little bit of spoiler, rumor, possibility, spoiler information. I don't know how it takes place. But this is something that Spoiling Dead put out there, I think, a while back, around the time that they predicted the Jesus death. And I think it kind of got glossed over a little bit. Not a lot of people have talked about it. If you guys are ready for it, once again, I will give a shout out to Spoiling Dead's fan page, because this is probably about 3 months worth of material. So this is a while back, but no one's made a big deal about it. And I think this might be the second death. Some people are going to hear it, they're going to say, yeah, we heard about that. But I think now that we get closer and closer, a lot of people didn't really talk about it. So apparently Luke gets taken hostage. And that might, I think if Luke becomes a Pike, then it definitely can take the pressure off somebody else. Then maybe we don't lose Ezekiel. Maybe we don't lose Jerry. Maybe we don't lose Rosita. I still think there's going to be a major character gets put on a Pike. But I did feel a little better when I heard that Luke gets kidnapped. And I think it's in episode 9. So, well, a lot of people like Luke. That's the problem, is I don't feel like Luke was a long-term mainstay anyway. But yeah, I think Luke is going to be probably the first one that gets put on a Pike. And look, he's likable. He's not going to be on the show long enough to get super attached to him, so that's okay. But, for a while we picked, could be Jerry, could be Ezekiel, could be Rosita. So, here's a question. Luke gets kidnapped. I think Luke will become a mile marker. Who do you think, if you believe in this, who do you think Luke would replace? Which person? So instead of taking Ezekiel and Jerry, who might have just gotten off the Pike because of Luke? Jerry? Rosita? The King? I think the King. I feel like now Ezekiel is safe. I don't know what it is about it, but now I feel like Rosita, Luke, I feel like they're gone. Yeah, I still feel like Rosita's going to, I feel like she's going to leave the show. Kari Payton has developed quite a following. I think the King, I think they're going to keep him around for a while. And I do think that they're not going to put Carol through. Look, I know there's people out there that want Carol and Daryl. I just don't see it. I think Ezekiel and Carol's relationship is going to last. And Rochelle, the Army brat, Luke was piked in the comics. There you go. And someone said just a minute ago, another Fox, Rosita may be broken mentally. That was kind of the theme of our 12 o'clock stream earlier today, is Rosita, certainly the toughness is coming out, but she may be insane. She may have witnessed so much out there that, especially with where she's at, think about this. No one has been around, and well, no one even knows yet, to tell her that, no, these are really people in masks. And the problem's going to be if she goes back out on her own and they find out, they could kind of cross each other's paths. So if Rosita thinks she's insane, and then she's got to go out there, and they can't restrain her, or, she makes them think, okay, it's going to kind of die down a little bit, and she sneaks out, and then some of the group gets captured, some gets back, and they come back and it's like, hey, guess what? There's these creepy people wearing masks, and they talk to each other. Then Rosita's never going to know that, and she's going to be out there just kind of tripping over and over again. And I think that could lead to her demise. Sergeant Chosen One says, will we get the mid-season return date tonight? I don't think so. I think it'll be like, it's going to say something along the lines of The Walking Dead returns in February. But I don't think they'll give us an exact date. Just, they'll throw it out there. But we will get some scenes from the second half. And I think there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. Just checking out a couple comments here. Could we have a post-credit scene? You're into the Marvel thing. Maybe. I mean, I'll watch it. Scott, I would say it's more likely. I don't think we'll get a scene. I think we'll get a kind of a clip. See, maybe not as part of the show, but as part of like the commercial, leading into the commercial. Maybe that's what you meant. And hey, look really quick, because we're doing these streams all throughout the day. And I certainly don't want people that are in the chat to think that we're picking on anybody. And I've answered this several times. So, Nightmare Files, you know, I know it was an innocent question, but let me say this. I don't watch other YouTube channels. So, no offense against them. I absolutely support you guys supporting other channels. But I don't broadcast other channels. I don't talk about a lot of other channels. And the main reason is not because they're not good at what they do. They're very good at what they do. I want our streams to be on a topic. I don't want them to be influenced and affected by other things. Because I don't want to do a stream and get accused of hijacking somebody else's content. And I know many of you do. You'll watch a stream and sometimes you come in and it's something you talk about somewhere else. I'm totally fine with that. But I think as a host, it's just not my thing. So hopefully you guys understand that. And please don't mistake it as, you know, I hate other people. I know who other people are. I know they do what they do, but I just don't watch them. So hope that answers your question. Not trying to pick on you or anything. Scott Kernan says, I wonder if we'll see Alpha in the promo for 9B. Yes, we better. That I agree with you 100%. I think the show will be left in a cliffhanger. There's going to be a lot of mystery around it. We're going to get that, you know, scenes from, you know, the second half of The Walking Dead. They'll kind of announce it like that. And then we're going to be looking at it over and over again. It's like, oh, that person made it. They're still alive. And I do think that we'll get to see Alpha and Beta. I really think they're going to put that in there because they got to hype us up and keep us going for the next 6 weeks. Sheila Mack, Kills, do you think Judith will be in this episode? I have not heard confirmation that Judith is in this episode. But I will say, you know, there's one thing that we're going to do in the countdown tonight. We're going to talk about, the spoilers are out there, but there's always some good details that we can look and kind of find, like, oh, okay, you know, we saw this, this, and this, but we didn't know there was a Judith scene, or we didn't know that there was an RJ scene, or something along those lines. So I'm not 100% on it, because I don't know if the Judith story is going to tie into what's happening. I think it's going to be Hilltop. I think it's going to be a little bit of the madness. I think it's going to be that dark. Because remember, the one thing that we are going to get is we're going to get that scene with Henry and his friends at Hilltop. So I don't know if they're going to give us a Henry scene and go back and show us what life is like in Alexandria. I would say that'll probably be in 9, not in 8. Jason, the mixologist, super chatting and says, Kills, how do you think the Whispers are controlling these walkers? I noticed that one that was walking off track and there was a bump. You know what, Jason? I've been racking my brain all morning. I've asked it a couple times and I don't know. The only thing that I can think of is that they don't. Is because it's going to look like a roast beef sandwich. If you got 10 Whispers and 30 walkers, for example, and you've got one person, say a Luke or a Daryl or somebody else, I would think those walkers are just, even if you got them up front and you got a little bit of a buffer, I would think they're just going to go nuts. Like, they're going to see you and they're just going to, like, you know, want to rip the person that is not. I mean, remember, that's why people covered themselves in walker guts, and then it was like the one person that didn't, or their guts washed off, they were the ones that were at risk. So I'm very anxious to see how they control them, and maybe they don't. Maybe they just lead them in a different direction, and, you know, there's a group that takes people they want to decapitate and make an example out of. They just kind of move faster and get them out of there. Nightmare Files, prefer comic or what the show has presented? So Nightmare, I I like both. But I will say this, and it's not to, look, I know comic fans love the comics. I don't get attached to the comics characters the same way that I get attached to the television characters. When Glenn died in the comics, it really didn't, it wasn't a big deal for me because I didn't get attached to it the same way as I do on television. On the television, it bothered me. So I prefer the television show. And I like the fact that they deviate the arc and they veer in a different direction sometimes, so it's not all what the people from the graphic novel are expecting, that they're changing it up a little bit. That's just me. But I know there's some people that love the comic much more, and they do get more attached to the characters. But me, it's just a little bit more visual and hearing them talk and come to life and all those things. It's kind of the way I feel about it. Thank you for that. Scott Kernan, the Negan escape scene, which is in Alexandria. So, Scott, it's a great point. So, yes, we could see Judith in that scene. But we were joking the other night that, partially joking. Where's Negan going to go? What's he going to do? And wouldn't it be a hell of a thing if he just went over and started making Judith spaghetti? I mean, I think they're gonna make us think it's a real cliffhanger with that. That's not going to be the big cliffhanger. But I do think they're going to make it look like Negan wants freedom and he wants to get away. Maybe he finds Lucille. Maybe that's the big reveal. He does kind of get to that point. Or maybe he roams around a little bit and decides he wants to go back to the cell. That's what I really think he's going to do. I just feel like every time that we're ready to think we're getting the old Negan back, I think the writers and the character himself is going to throw us a curve and say he's redeemed. Checking out a couple comments here. Hold tight. Jimmy Brooks says, Kills, do you think they are setting up Eugene and Rosita relationship for later this season? No. Jimmy, I'm going to say we get too infatuated with these relationships that, look, they never did it with Aaron and Jesus, and everybody's like, it's going to happen, even after a time skip, or at least not that we saw. I think they're going to get back to it being a zombie show. I think the relationships are what they are, but I certainly don't think they're going to make it into a watered-down love story. Drama King, Super Chat, dog sense of smell will play a major role. Absolutely it will. That dog is going to be able to tell the difference between the humans or the Whisperers and the Walkers. No doubt that dog, it was not only a request for Norman Reedus, but to be tied into the story, do not underestimate the way that's going to go down. And you know what? And I don't think it's going to be one of those things where the dog dies and Daryl seeks out revenge. I really don't. I don't think that... Look, there's going to be some close calls. There was already a close call last week. So, one person sent me a message and said, hey, Kills, do you think that Lydia tied up the dog because the way it was kind of in the trap? I personally don't. But because I think Daryl makes some very intricate traps. And with that, we are at 3:24. If you guys missed the stream yesterday, Mel came in and said he was proposing and wanted all of us to wish him good luck. Many of you might not have been involved in that stream, but we are a Walking Dead family. So check this out. Mel, with the diamond ring, said she said yes. Mel, did you go to Jared? Because if you did, you had to know. Did I? Oh, I think I just did a commercial for Jared. All right, look, hey, Kay, Friedman's, there's a whole bunch of good places out there. I don't want to kind of steer toward Jared. But congratulations, Mel. And, you know, if you think about it, that's another, our 999 Army's growing. So we're advertising. We are bringing people on board. But in theory, if you marry someone, that is another way to make our 999 Army a little bit larger. So all of you go out and get married and then have a whole bunch of kids and do all of that. So we'll quadruple the size of the Army. So, hey, congratulations, Mel, on a serious note. That is awesome, awesome news. And glad we got it in this stream because, you know, the 8 o'clock stream tonight is going to be a little bit of countdown and spoilers. Very, very good stuff. And we got a few more minutes. So let's see if we got any other topics that I missed. This is, as we said before, this is knowledge that's out there. We talked about Luke a little bit, but I'm very interested to see how the Luke situation is going to go down and how the Lydia situation is going to go down. Because one of the gaps that we have to bridge is apparently there are hostages. So if there are hostages, you know what? Maybe Luke doesn't. I mean, we might be jumping the gun on this. Maybe no one is going to be put on a pike anytime soon. Hey, absolutely, Mel. We got a couple more minutes, but once again, congratulations. That is awesome, awesome news. So I know we're all anxious to see who's going to be the first person that's piked, but there's also a couple people get kidnapped. Maybe there's an exchange. Michonne goes in. If Michonne is able to kidnap Lydia, which is the rumor that would happen in 9 or 10, then the big kidnapping and the big thing that we've heard rumored takes place is that, and that's probably around 14 or 15, that's going to set up the season finale, and that's where I think you're going to see your Negan come to save the day. Now, it could get a little repetitive, right? People taken hostage, then they take hostages, then you exchange your hostages, then you're out there and some more people get taken hostages, then you make people into pikes, and then it gets more serious. And that's the way that I think they're going to ramp it up. I think it's going to be, we're going to take a couple. Hey, we killed one of yours. You shouldn't have been here. You're in the wrong place. And then a couple people get taken when they're out there looking for them. Probably Luke, maybe someone else, maybe Luke and Rosita. And then Lydia gets kidnapped to try to, negotiate a deal. We still think that there are people that can be reasoned with, but they can't. And then you probably get some pikes. And then you're probably also going to get that big capture. And what we've heard is I think we heard Carol, Daryl, and Michonne. That's a big ensemble of people that are trapped. Scott Kernan says the pipes are filmed for 9/16, 12 pikes. But, Scott, keep in mind, it's very likely that we will see that beforehand and it won't be the way they end the season. I don't think they're going to end it on a pike cliffhanger. I really think that that's kind of out of filming and they'll bring it back in. So, the question I have for you before we wind this thing down, we got one more minute left. If Michonne, Carol, and Daryl are all taken hostage and they're tied up and they're observing these beheadings and these things that are going down, who's the crew that will come in and save those three? Think about the relevance of that. All right? So Luke was kidnapped earlier, or we hear that. So if Daryl, Carol, and Michonne, three of the baddest people on the show, who comes in to help them? There you go. I like Magna. I like Negan. Magna Yumiko. And all those are good names. But, as I said, I think There's one more partnership that will go down, and none of you have typed it yet. I think around 14 or 15, Negan will be reunited with someone, because if Daryl, I don't think the Daryl-Negan relationship is quite there yet. I think we'll see that in the second half. I think Dwighty Boy and Negan will be the two that will team up with the assistance of Magna. Magna, Dwight, Negan, maybe even Ezekiel. And I do think that would be like, okay, look, we lost some, but we get Dwight back. Now we get Dwighty Boy. So Dwight and Negan, I think, would figure out a way to work it out. And then later on, they're going to have to do something to smooth over the Daryl situation with everyone. All right, everybody, we have hit 31 minutes. This is The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 8, Whisper Attack. This is stream number 2. Everybody do me a favor. Pike that like button. We get 1 or 2 people that stroll in here that just don't like what we do, and that's cool. But they keep coming back. I don't know why. They keep coming back and listening and disliking. It's like, hey, I don't really like, okay, I'll stick around. But I'm going to give it a thumbs down. That's fine. Do me a favor. Everybody support the 999 Army. Give me a thumbs up and just show everybody here what we're all about. We're growing our subscribers, 81,000. We're pushing to 100,000. So thank you so much. If you guys are not subscribed, or if you got a friend, a family member that likes The Walking Dead, have them subscribe. Bring them into our live streams. We live stream like nobody else. This is our deal. This is our thing. It's about each and every one of us. Very few 5-minute videos here. You're going to get some detailed chat. Hey, it's not always right, but it's always fun, I think. At least I have a good time. So thanks to everybody for being here. Also, if you guys want to check out what we do, we got a Facebook fan page, Walking Dead 999 Army. You can hang out with us there. Also, we got a ton of Patreons. We're growing that. I want to say thank you to all the patrons in the top left-hand corner. They support through a third-party website. There is a link down below. We got sponsors as well. You can see the sponsors' names are in green. Also, my moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells, and Super Chatters. We get a boatload of Super Chatters, and thank you so much. You guys keep the conversation fresh. Whenever there is a lull, there's a different topic conversation to pop up. I want to shout out to Super Chatters, Valar. Also, Nightmare Files. Thank you so much, Nightmare Files. And sorry about the disagreement, but Sergeant Chosen One, Scott Kernan, Sheila Mack, Jason Mixologist Daily. Jason, I'm going to try to get back to you. I want to see how these walkers are being controlled as well. Drama King. Great point with the dog's sense of smell. And also Mel the Vulture. So thanks, everybody. You guys are absolutely amazing. We will be back again at 8 o'clock tonight doing what we always do on Sunday nights, the Walking Dead Countdown. So that's going to be about 20, 25 minutes just getting us hyped up for tonight's show. And then after the show, immediately after the show, while Talking Dead is broadcasting, we are going to be doing our initial reaction video. It's going to last maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then we're going to go back, check out Talking Dead, and then we're going to do an extended reaction video at 11:20 tonight. So 3 more streams. Hopefully you guys are having a great time. Happy Walking Dead Day. I will see you all, hopefully. Actually, I want to see everybody here and then some at 8 o'clock tonight because it's a mid-season finale. This is what we do. Thanks, everybody. I will talk to y'all soon. Peace.